Welcome back, everybody, to Santa Cruz hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. You're listening to the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. It's a radio digest version of the Santa Cruz Gazette and free classifieds. For all you need to know to be in the know. And speaking of being in the know, we have with us who's kind of coming a regular. We really like having. He's our
breaking news.
He's our Karl Rove.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
The Karl Rove, huh?
You know, because he's on every Fox News show, every one of them he's on.
Right.
So you're going to be on ours.
Perry Smith. We have breaking
Important to
news.
provide context.
Perry Smith, the news director here at KHTS. Perry, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
So do we have breaking news?
We do have breaking news, but it's
Unsubstantiated.
No, it's substantiated.
Oh, it's substantiated. Okay.
There's two fires going on right now. There's one by Highway 38 and Cement Plant Road in Gorman, which is pretty far north. And then I'm hearing talks just now on the scanner when I came in here of another incident going on near Sand Canyon near Bear Mountain Way.
Oh, way up there a little bit, yeah.
But I'm going to be soon.
Yeah.
And there's another incident there that's supposed to be in Angeles Forest territory, but county fire is also rolling, so don't know the status of that yet.
We don't know the status yet?
It's breaking.
Okay. That was breaking news. That was impressive.
It's exciting
Well,
that
thank
breaking.
That's pretty cool.
Perry, when
Do
we
what I
were
can.
here a week ago today, we were talking about how the billboard situation had turned around and the city wasn't going to make a deal after they decided they were going to make a deal. Lo and behold, they have the city council meeting last Tuesday night, and what happened?
Well, Metro did a little bit of a flip-flop, apparently, on the indemnity clause. The city wanted what they were calling a more bulletproof clause, and Metro was saying no. And apparently Monday, after the agenda was posted, Metro agreed to the terms. So the city's moving forward after a few more hours of protest and discussion.
That's what they do best.
Yeah, it was things got a little spicy at the meeting. It was interesting. But the deal went ahead for a second reading on March 25th. Now, because of the last-minute agenda change, they couldn't really okay it on second reading. They had to put it forward, but
Right.
that's expected to happen.
nice.
On
So to clarify for our listeners, to make it simple, the city was going to be held liable if they were going to get sued if somebody had a wreck on the freeway.
No. Doug, remember last week what was going to happen is there was a concern that the city would be liable.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And what they
Yeah.
wanted was
To be
a
unliable.
clause saying that
Yeah, that's what
Metro is going to take the liability. We're going to
And
indemnify
it wasn't
them.
just for freeway crashes. It was also
was-
for anything that happened during the construction of
Yeah.
the billboards or the
Yeah.
taking down of the other billboards.
Yeah.
So bottom line is,
you know.
Metro said, okay, City Santa Cruz, you will not be liable for any of this.
Yeah.
But there was just kind of too much. Yeah.
But there's
Right.
that's so. All right, Perry. I have a non-specific question for you.
Sure.
Okay. It always seems like these issues pop up and they become like the big thing of the day. It was chloride was on everybody's lips. Everybody learned all they wanted to know about chloride because of everything that was going on in the city council and the whole big reverse osmosis stuff. And then it was the billboards and we've got billboards issues.
Sure.
Pull out your crystal ball. What do you think is going to be next?
Cemex.
Oh, it's coming back?
I don't think it's gone anywhere. I think it's been put off as long as Cemex can,
I thought it was
wanted to hold-
I thought it was with Congress and Washington was
is.
involved and it was going to take forever to get anything done one way or the other.
Yeah, well, you know how fast Congress moves. But,
Exactly.
I think the issue, right now it hasn't been scored by the Congressional Budget Office, who gives a dollar value to every deal. Now, if they can compensate, if Congress can approve a deal that will compensate a Cemex enough for their contracts, then they're okay with it. But if it turns out that value is going to be greater than what Cemex is asking for, then the deal is not going to go through. And I'm of the impression, from what I'm reading and hearing, that it's not going to go. The scoring, even if they give it a zero value, there's a couple players in Congress on that committee that are looking at the bill that aren't going to look at it favorably because of the potential revenue, the future revenues. The contracts in question that Cemex has are for 20 years, but the potential for revenue for the government there is for the next 100
For
years.
the next 100 years, exactly.
So they're going to care more about revenue than the folks on the east side of our city choking with dust and having the roads clogged with semi-trucks.
I suppose that's a way of...
Okay.
That's a nice way to put it, Doug. Very succinct for you. For a change. You did a very nice job. Nothing in the city has ever foregone conclusion that it's going to be set.
Absolutely.
I'm not even sure what the next step is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, as far as how you adjust to that or what's going to happen around there, if there's because technically the land is county land.
Right.
It's city adjacent though. It's right outside of the 14.
Right.
Oh, so okay.
So technically, the city. I don't believe the city has any jurisdiction on land. I don't think it's part of their open space belt.
Right.
I believe it's
don't-
outside there. I'm not speaking with any
Yeah.
sort of authority.
I
on
don't
that
think
right
it is
now.
part of
I
the-
don't
And
know.
what are the big concerns that anybody that lives anywhere near the San Canyon, Soledad, 14,
the 14 corridor.
Yeah, the 14 corridor.
You're going to see a lot more traffic.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
the traffic, but home values
particulate
are going to
dust.
drop.
Yeah.
Yep. No
Yeah.
question.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
Perry, let me ask you this. I don't know if you can answer this, but some of the criticism of Congressman Buck McKeon have been that he hasn't done enough. Would you concur with that or no?
Well, I mean, as far as getting the bill, is it his responsibility to get the bill through? He brought it forward, and and this last bill was brought through by Boxer and Feinstein, and not through his office.
Right.
He signed on to it, but it hasn't gotten done. It's been an issue for 10
that's
years.
gonna- that's gonna
I
be
mean,
not
as
done.
far as if I feel like he's done enough, that's kind of an opinion question. But the
Yeah.
reality is that the bill hasn't gotten.
It just seems to me if he had a real passion for this, he would gather political strength and try to get allies
Well,
and work
that's
the
what
back
congressmen
rooms,
do, Doug. That's what
and
congressmen
really
do.
get this going. But it seems to me, and I don't know for sure, my perception is that he doesn't have a lot of emotional energy for this topic.
Yeah, maybe. Now, it's going to be interesting because not only do we have the city council elections coming up, but there's going to be some fundamental changes to those elections that's probably going to come back and affect how the city deals with this issue.
Right. Well, I mean, and let's be clear. I think there's not really a whole lot the city can do with CEMEX other than, ask for more support in Congress.
Right.
But I mean, as far as other city issues and how they're
Well,
legislated, that could
Yeah.
certainly be changed. We're going to have cumulative voting according to this deal that was just struck to settle the Voting Rights Act lawsuit
Yeah.
allegation. And so you're going to see the vote in November, which is expected to get more voters out there.
Now, are they voting this November? I thought it was.
Well, the deal is it's not going to affect the April election.
Right.
So let's
They're
be
going
clear
forward with the
there.
April election, April 8th.
That's going right.
Right.
Register and vote. You got 2 weeks before the date of the election, 15 days
Right.
before the election to register. So if you haven't, you can still do that. And
Absolutely.
Obviously, encourage that.
There's probably information on your website. Not that
Absolutely.
plugging
if
your
you wanted to
website,
show for
yeah. Not that I
hometownstation.com,
would ever.
where you're source for local Santa Clarita
I gotta
Valley
do that
news.
once a week. It
Thank
seems
you,
like every
John.
time you're
Appreciate it, Doug. I'm looking at you. Anyway,
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
there's nothing wrong with that. So there's information there about that, but essentially we're going to move the vote in 2016. It's going to
Okay,
go.
so
It's going to go from April to,
Okay, so even your elections,
November,
your
right.
elections every 2 years.
and then you're going to have 3 votes on the ballot. You have as many votes as you have offices, so you have 2 votes, 2 incumbents, and you can use those votes how you'd like.
So I'm going to have in the city election in 2016. I'm going to have more than one vote,
Exactly.
Well, let's take
Like
this
this-
vote.
this
This
vote.
one, for example, you would have 3 votes.
right?
You got 3 candidates. Peter's giving me himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're going to have 3 candidates on this ballot. If it were the case in next November, or November 2016 rather, then you could use those votes all on one candidate, or you could disperse 2 and 1, or you could vote for,
Wow.
like you do now. One separate
Or you
candidate, one
could
per.
do like most people, sit home on your couch and not worry
Right.
about it. and
Or
then
you could be
complain
a part
after
of the
you-
other
Yeah,
92%
exactly,
and not
exactly.
vote.
Perry,
People vote.
This will
Yes.
be interesting, Perry.
Get
We'll
out and
have you in.
register.
We'll have you in to talk a little bit more about fires. If something happens, come in and please interrupt us. Obviously,
Okay,
it's
I
important
appreciate that.
information.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
All
our
right, we've
station after
been
all.
talking to Perry Smith, news director here at KHTS.
All right.
We appreciate his time. Thank you, Perry.
All right, you're
You're
listening to
welcome,
Gazette
fellas.
Radio Hour with Doug and John at Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be back with Ben Oakley.
Shopping